Hey guys, I'm here with David. It is 2024, if you can believe that. And we have a lot of things that we want to share with you.
Exciting things.
Yes.
Really exciting things. Can't wait to share with you.
Yeah, very good. So we should jump right in. The first thing is the gift of zero trust connectivity. You know, to me, that has become this gift that keeps on giving.
Right.
You know, when you started this journey 10 years ago of knowing that technology had to go this direction, and we look back at what happened in 2023, especially towards the end of 2023, where there's 0 days, stacked 0 days, four 0 days that ripped iPhones open.
Yeah.
Okay, that's been running for 5 years.
Yeah.
Right? Just the amazing privilege of having a device in zero trust connectivity, and you look at that attack chain, super complex attack chain, right?
That's right.
But when it gets to the point where it's like, okay, let's get the new payload, let's get the malware, let's get the spy, whatever it was, that connection just gets interrupted.
Correct.
You know, being able to be protected against it without having to know that the threat actually existed, right?
This is a perfect example of how true proactive posture can be confirmed in hindsight.
Right.
Where you can say, okay, once again, when you take the zero trust connectivity approach, even though there was a threat that nobody knew about, we can now validate that that threat was mitigated with the proactive posture.
Right. Yeah. So anyhow, very excited, and it's really amazing to see how it's actually paying off. You know.
Right.
Tell us about DoH, David.
This is a space that I'm really excited about. So you may have to tone me down a bit.
Just a teaser, okay? We'll do a deep dive on it. We'll do a proper deep dive on it, but just a teaser. What's coming?
Here's the teaser. DoH, which is DNS over HTTPS. It's encrypted DNS so that when your device is making a DNS query, that query itself is encrypted.
Right.
This has been a topic of discussion for a couple of years now, with different people and different organizations having a different claim or different stake, I guess, in this whole ecosystem. And we always felt that it was really important just to do it right.
Right.
And we have done it. We have done it right. The endpoint does DoH to layer 2, which is ADAM1. ADAM1 then can do DoH, DOT upstream.
Right.
So the entire path is secured, but most importantly, it's done in a way where the ADAM1 service can still make the decision from a security point of view, privacy, content filtering, and so forth, that is not bypassed. And all other DoH mechanisms out there tend to bypass that local security element. Right. And this way, it's done right.
Yeah. Right, so and all of you guys that have been following, especially the NSA adopting encrypted DNS in enterprise environments requirements or guidelines, anyone that's been following that, you now have a way to surpass what the requirement is.
That's right.
Okay, so that's really, really cool. We'll dive into that more in more detail.
Yeah.
What's the next one?
Well, what's next is ADAM And some of you have been with us for a while and seen ADAM mature on iOS. That allowed us to now also offer it on...
So this is it. You have an actual Samsung ADAM protected device. So really, really excited to announce that. This is matured. All the benefit that you get from Samsung Knox, security benefits that you get from it. We worked very closely. The guys at Samsung were very, very helpful. But to actually get this deployed in a hardened fashion. So not just is it an actual hardening of the device, it's also mitigating the human factor because the user cannot switch it off.
Right.
So using all of the value that Knox actually brings to the table to prevent that, to harden the whole device, and so now we have a working, matured, ready version of Atom Go for Samsung Knox.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
That's awesome. And but not just Samsung Knox, okay?
That's right.
Our team have been working really, really hard, and it's now rolling out for Chromebooks too.
Right. This is very exciting for us because ChromeOS required a little bit of a different approach and treatment. And so we're very grateful for the team members involved that just kept on jumping over one hurdle after the next.
Right. That's what it is. It's really a hurdle race. How fast can I clear the next hurdle, right? And so for our team that's worked on that, it's been an exciting year because we're getting there for sure. And so all of you guys who are interested in getting Chromebooks protected with Atom One, specifically multi-homed, whether it's education, whichever way, now there is a solution for you to explore, and that's really, really exciting stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
As well as Atom Go on Windows.
Right.
So Windows computers that are running a professional version of Windows and above, not the home version, they can now be enrolled in Atom Go for Windows as well.
Right. And that's really cool because now it's not just iOS, it's not just the homed network and systems that are being protected, but any multi-homed, which makes such a big part of any IT mix for any corporation. Now that is also solved. And so there really is no excuse anymore to say, well, zero trust only for parts. Okay, you can do all of your high value assets, all of your high value devices can be protected now, which is really cool.
It is.
Yeah.
2024 is exciting.
And then another thing for Go is that what we have done is simplified the pricing specifically for SMB.
Yep.
Okay, as you guys would know, there's obviously a setup fee, and then there was a device provisioning fee because we needed to set up VPN exits, and there was things that had to happen on the actual device. And instead of having that setup cost for SMB, that complicated things quite a lot because you'd be rotating through devices and so forth. Now what we have is that you can have a unified price per device. So the setup fee, once that's done for the corporation, from that point on, there's a unified price, and it varies obviously per corporation and so forth, but there's a unified price that includes the device provisioning as well as the license and operation fee per device. On the enterprise side, there are some cases where it might be better to have the individual device provisioning in enterprise batch, versus with a lower monthly operation fee. But so now the option exists. And for SMB, really, it simplifies things. So a lot of our SMB clients have jumped on that already.
Right.
So that's really been a good step forwards. And then, David, can you tell us about smart rules?
I'd love to tell you more about smart rules that are now starting to show up on the dashboard. And up until now, we've had various rules and rule types that can be turned on or off on a per policy basis.
Right.
But one of the ways that we can make the system even more effective is to have external input into dynamically generating and update these smart rules sometimes once a second because of a new threat that's been emerged. And
yeah, so this is really valuable for that circumvention hardening, that prevention of bypassing where malware or an insider threat or a malicious person on the inside is actually purposefully trying to circumvent the protection there, right? And so we're adapting here because threats are adapting. And so what you would have seen in the past was the old, like what was called the cipher neutralizer.
Yes.
Okay, that is now deprecated, which means that there is something new coming in its place. And so you'll start seeing smart rules show up for all of our managed clients. You don't have to do anything. Smart rules are going to start showing up in your dashboard. We will automatically switch them on, and then we will basically replace the old limited circumvention
Right.
dynamic rules that exist.
Right. The key element to the smart rules and what feeds them is AI and automation.
Right.
So that you're not waiting on some kind of threat to be detected by a human being, by an event, by an incident, but rather by having automated scouring of threats that then automatically get added to smart rules.
Right. And the beauty here is it's going to be doing a lot more than what we did in the past.
That's
so
right.
we have to do that to stay ahead of the curve. And so we're really excited that that's something that's getting rolled out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And now for your favorite part, David, let's talk about the muscle.
For a second, I had a picture in my mind of my sons doing this to make sure there's still a muscle there, right?
Yeah,
but
sure.
That's not the muscle we're talking about. We're talking about the software called ADAM1, the muscle that lives on a router or lives in the cloud in a gateway.
On the edge, yeah.
That piece of software has been at the core of what's facilitated a different way of thinking about cybersecurity in general as it transits a gateway, right? And we think of this establishment of the muscle over time as being something that initially was a completely different way of thinking, but then because it was so new, it needed to have all kinds of considerations to made forward. So it went through many iterations. Sure. And so the amount of snapshot and rapid releases that we've gone through this past year, I do not want to count, but I'm really excited to share with you that we're at a point where 4.11 that's being released this coming week is what we consider a very strong baseline that from here on in will be able to continue to grow, where more and more of the features that are being asked for in the dashboard will now be deliverable. So this is very exciting for me. I kind of liken it to a very long runway that, in some parts of the world at very high altitude, the runways for aircraft are 3 times the length. Right. And in a way, this is a long runway that we've had, but we have now literally put the finishing touches on that runway.
Right.
And so now we can do more things like fly away with, more potential. So that's what we're excited about.
Yeah, very good. So, and on that note, let's carry on to the dashboard. So you will notice that, or you might have been noticing that in 2023, a lot of things started looking different.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of this was because we needed to do a lot of changes on backend or the structure of the UI in order to start making the updates that we know you have asked for and that we wanted to actually bring to the user interface as well. So you would have seen some of these things beginning to happen now, but the most exciting part is that now we're at a place that we can make faster changes.
Right.
All right. Things have been consolidated, things have been updated, and so now we can release a lot of the user requested features are now going to be able to start rolling out a lot quicker.
Right.
So we're really excited about that. And for a team that worked so hard to do it, like, good stuff, guys. We're definitely powering forwards. And I think the smiles on the faces of our users, yes. I hope that they reach you, because that is something that we felt's been needed for quite a while, and now we're actually at the place that it's rolling out well.
That's right.
Yeah, very good. Next topic, Reflex.
Reflex. We're very excited about testing out Reflex, and we're thrilled about the added productivity that will add for everybody. So we're going to have a separate detailed announcement and demonstration on that coming shortly.
Yeah.
But boy, oh boy, we're so excited about 2024. And another reason is Reflex.
Yeah, for sure. And patents rolling forwards on that. So what we weren't able to show you guys in the past, very soon, as soon as that patent pending hits, then very soon we can start showing you guys around on it, and you're going to love it as much as we're loving it, and the testing that we've been doing with it has really been very, very good results on it. So it really changes the dynamic, especially when it comes to environments where you need to do research or you need to be able to move faster in an unsafe internet, right? Then that definitely speeds things up. So watch the space on Reflex.
And next on our list, we have a very exciting event that happened just a few months ago.
Yeah, sure.
There is a podcast called Security Now,
Right.
And the host is Steve Gibson. And I've known Steve for some time. In the last couple of years, we hadn't gotten together. But this time around, the stars lined up when we were in California. And he said yes to a coffee. And what we wanted to do was just show him in person what we've been working on for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And here we thought we would have a couple of months to get a bunch of things in order, to get ready.
Let me. Yeah. So I got to backtrack here a little bit. What was interesting is that he's a busy guy, right? And an hour meeting turned into 2, turned into 3.5.
Right.
And then halfway during the meeting, Steve sits back and he just goes, "Oh, you guys have been busy, haven't you?" Right?
Yeah.
And by that point, we didn't even show him "Don't Talk to Strangers" yet.
That's right.
He didn't even see it at that point. So to me, it was just so encouraging to see him, which is such a respected figure in the industry, how he was responding to the solutions to the problems that our team have been coming up with over the last 4 years. You know. So that was actually such a blessing. That was a fun day for sure.
So here, after he's hearing this, and he says, "Okay, you know what? I'm going to tell the Security Now audience about this."
Yeah.
We kind of assumed that it would be a few months later, right?
Yeah.
We
get everything ready. You know, we got to put our new version on the website. And by the way, watch 2024 for that too. You know. Get all of these things in place, and then slowly but surely, here's what we think the world needs to know and shouldn't know. And then?
So our coffee was Friday, and I had been working on Monday and Tuesday on a series of notes because we wanted to make Steve's life easier. And then Tuesday, his show notes show up, and one of our engineers says, "David, I think Steve is mentioning ADAMnetworks today. Do you know anything about this?"
Now, I've often noted on this podcast that I cannot imagine the challenge of keeping an enterprise safe while it's connected to today's internet. And in fact, today's Citrix Bleed topic makes me shudder a bit, because even if everything is done right, it's still possible to be taken down. I'm so glad that keeping a highly connected, sprawling enterprise safe is not my job, but it does still need to be done. And these ADAMnetwork guys have not only imagined the challenge of keeping an enterprise safe, from what was explained to me on Friday, and I think I pretty much understand the way it works, at least in broad strokes, they've not only imagined the challenge, they've risen to it. And if I had an enterprise network which I needed to protect today, based upon what I understand now, I don't think I'd want to be without this solution. I'm thinking of reaching out to Father Robert to make him aware of this, because it would be so cool to have the Vatican this well protected.
So, boy, oh boy, was that exciting for us. We are grateful for it, and we've generated a lot of new connections through that.
Right.
His audience definitely includes some very fine, qualified people in the cybersecurity space. So we're very grateful for that event, and more to come from that, we're sure, in 2024.
Yeah. Let's turn to Passkeys for a second, okay? So 2023 was definitely the year, I would say, that would go down where the big guys started saying, all right, let's put our money where our mouth is, and let's start adopting Passkeys. So we've seen Microsoft make some pretty big moves. Apple, Google make some pretty big moves on using or implementing Passkeys, and then sort of changing things on the fly as they're doing it. We've been doing, we've been sticking to the idea of Passkeys for over 4 years, as long as it's really been around. But what's cool is to see how the industry is moving in a similar direction. opening some cans of worms in the process, on vulnerabilities that are just getting shifted to different places. But that's a discussion, more of an in-depth discussion for another time. But what we did want to do is just remind you to say, hey, use your sovereign passkey, not a synchronized passkey, because if you're going to be using a synchronized passkey for signing into your Atom dashboard, what you're doing is you're shifting the protection you would have had from your sovereign passkey, you're shifting that onto the platform, onto your Apple ID, your Microsoft, or your Google ID. You're shifting all that responsibility onto that platform. And if that platform, if your identity on that platform is not hardened, you're going to get yourself into trouble. So our dashboard, as you guys know, especially all of the managed clients and that are properly managed, does support FIDO2 WebAuthn. It has for quite a while. We suggest you using your sovereign, unsynchronized passkeys on the dashboard. Keep doing that, and you should be in good shape. Okay?
Yep. Absolutely.
And then MSSPs.
Right. So we have a licensed partner program that we're excited to launch in 2024.
Putting up in 2024, yeah.
And this is so important because honestly, as our mission states, we aim to protect people, especially ones that choose to be protected. We don't want our team and our team size to be the limit of who can all be protected. So this does need to end up as a technology in the hands of MSPs and managed security services providers as well, so that they can take it to their client base.
That's right.
And the actual licensed partner program will require some training, will require to make sure that there is a handoff of the complete managed service that is done to the same caliber that you're used to receiving from the ADAMnetworks team.
Yeah, exactly. So, for MSPs, it's not like threat actors suddenly go soft on you because you're not fully versed in security. The world needs to adapt. And so what this will do is will give MSPs that security edge to provide a proper hardened posture for their clients. And then for MSSPs to be able to take their security hardening to a whole new height with zero trust connectivity.
That's right.
Our mission at the core is to protect people, right? And so just throwing technology at them doesn't protect them.
Right.
We've learned that the hard way. And so, and this is the important element, that the proper administration of the technology, applying it in a whole ecosystem where even the culture of your workplace is becoming security minded, that you at least know what to do, what not to do, operational security, your supply chain, everything that needs to be covered, and in the area of vulnerabilities, that all of those things in that ecosystem gets properly protected. And so for that reason, the trust that the end client ends up getting, that this technology, which they're beginning to trust, this brand that they're beginning to trust, is properly applied. And that's really at the core what sits in it for the client as well. Right?
And those of our clients that have already been through an onboarding years ago and a renewal, they've expressed that, wow, you guys are even more thorough this time and doing even more aspects on the renewal, which is really an important observation. I'm just reminded of this Bruce Schneier quote where he says, attacks always get better, they never get worse. And so what that means is that we as service providers have to button up more and more and more and more. It's not, we set up once and then forever it's set to go. It needs the continuous tweaking. And this is part of the licensed partner program as well, is to make sure that is part of the mantra, part of the ongoing attitude, that we have to continue to getting more secure, not less.
Yeah. So we'll do more in-depth releases on everything we mentioned here, but I think that's enough for today, just to give you an idea of what's in store, and it's really excited to have you along on the journey.
It really is, and it is for me too. Francois speaks for the whole team. We really do feel privileged to serve our client base.
Yeah.
And when I think back on how this whole journey started, and it was about what are we going to do with this thing of internet that is representing a big, massive, we don't know, kind of fog of what the future problems are.
Universal thread ecosystem. That's what the internet became. That's basically it.
And we're not the only ones who think of it. Like even we mentioned Steve Gibson, the amount of times that he's talked about the internet cesspool and the stuff that internet background radiation is another term that he likes to use. And there's lots of terms like that describe the internet because it's such a free-for-all. What we are excited about looking forward is that this can be reined back in for those that choose to be protected.
Yeah.
And we're still on that path, and we're more confident today than we were a year ago because of these confirmations and some of the things that we mentioned in this video. So glad to have you along for the ride. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Okay. See you guys.